right.
mobile phones. There's a couple of different simple ones that run their own OSs.
Oh, there's a few Chinese ones now that don't have access to the Android store because they've been blocked.
Oh.
Yeah. I just learned yesterday that DJI, because I have a DJI drone, they've been blacklisted by the US government now. No more sales. They don't trust the Chinese data that goes onto the cloud website,
I'm sure.
the footage,
Yeah.
because
You
they're
can't
using them for
take
spying.
your drone to Chicago then.
No, it's just for new sales. You can, anyone who's bought one, you bought one, but I'm not going to take my drone to Chicago.
I've got that SPB thing. I never use it.
The FPV drone, yeah.
They've got a new one now. The new baby FPV.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
even
do
better
too.
apparently.
Yeah,
Smaller.
yeah.
Because the other one needed cables. This new one.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to twist it, Sharon. Twist it on the base. Not that one. You're doing the wrong one.
Am I?
Yep.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's not twist. It's falling. Oh. Okay. So this one is not as good, but it's okay.
Can I make a call while you're getting
Yeah,
your
yeah,
tech ready?
absolutely, absolutely.
We're ready. Oh.
I'll be quick. 1 second.
Okay.
Testing, testing. I'm just testing my mic because I can see that little screen
Hey
there.
Dave. Hey, listen. I'll give you a call. I'm just good. I'm in some filming at the moment for some videos we're doing, so I'll give you a call. No, listen to me. No, listen. Just listen. Listen. Talk. I'll call you because I know you're about to plan into telling me 47,000 things. I'll call you. I'll call you once I've finished here. All right. I know it's 4:45. You got time, right? So in a couple of hours. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Bye. Even though I say.
This is your David.
Yeah, even though I say, hey, I'm calling, he doesn't hear anything you say. And he's about to embark on telling me a million things. So I have to say, David, stop, don't talk. Don't. And that's actually like I'm talking to a child, but kids go, don't talk. Otherwise he'll just embark on mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I like
right.
him. He's coming to Chicago too.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Oh, that's fun for him.
It'd be fun for all of us watching him.
Okay, so Scott, are you happy with your posture? No, I think you need to sit up a little bit. Yeah, that's better.
I'm not looking slumped, am I?
No, you look
I slouch
very,
naturally.
you look very professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're both looking gorgeous. All right, so why don't we start with the nice easy stuff. Who is Scott Everest? Why did you start? Bit of a story. Why is it better? Who's it good for? What does it do? How does it work? And then I have a call to action. Maybe we can get you to talk to camera.
So repeat that again. Ask about
Who is Scott
who is Scott?
Everest?
Who is that? What?
Yeah. Why did you start? Why is it better? I guess what you're going to be doing is probing. This is like an organic kind of conversation
Yeah.
around getting to know
Rather than
Everest.
this is not a brochure.
Correct. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
which is why otherwise you'd be like, da, 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 da.
Who is Everest?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe just kick off with something.
Do we talk about how we know each other? How we met?
Sure.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
do that because we
but
can
no-
edit that out.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'll help
'Cause
with the getting into it.
Yeah, because I actually don't think you don't want to talk about.
Oh, I don't mean the RMS Tech side.
Yeah.
Just how we found your services now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
About the current, how we found this current phase. Don't talk about obviously the RMS Tech phase. Yeah. Yeah, that's past. Yeah.
We can edit anything out as well. So if it feels more comfortable to just kick off with, how was your weekend? Like go and then launch into a kind of convo.
Yeah.
Whatever you.
And the purpose of this is not for me to give any background of ourselves, just to be asking Scott. That's it.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
This is an Everest gig.
Okay. Set of videos. Okay.
Yeah.
That you'll use.
Yeah, and you can use them too if you want to.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. We have got it pretty professionally set up.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So are we rolling?
Yeah, I'm already recording.
Oh, we're
so
already
yeah.
recording. Okay.
And Sharon, when are we talking?
Oopsies.
Where should we look? Should I look at Nick when I answer? Or should I look at the camera?
I
What's
think
the
we're
protocol?
talking to each other.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't want to look at camera.
Okay.
We're not going to look at camera, are we?
No.
Yeah. We'll be looking at Scott. Okay. Well, that's what we want. Conversational style. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So we'll just begin.
Act natural.
Okay. So good morning. Welcome, Scott. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we were going to be talking today about Everest, and it's intriguing to find out more about what Everest does and your background with Everest. Could you tell us more about your background?
Okay, so in the context of Everest, the story probably starts back 20 years ago when I started Avante. It's an IT company that I had up until 18 months ago. And I suppose in having that IT business, it gave me an insight into technology. And as technology changed, as the cloud started to become more prominent in 2013, 2014, we took a view that starting a cloud company would be something that would be beneficial for our clients, given the market and where it was heading. And in around 2016, 2017, we did start Everest. Initially, that was started in the UK. We launched there, and it was focused around our healthcare requirements. So things like data sovereignty, security, and giving clients a solution that we would design around their needs that was managed. I think was really important. Obviously we had the public cloud vendors at the time was still had the offering similar to today, but a little bit more basic than they were now. And really it left clients, to move to public cloud. There was quite a task there. They had to have skilled services to take them there, and then there was an element of management to manage it. And so we, in essence, thought that it really wasn't a significant change from having their servers on premise. It was really just a change of location. So we wanted to approach it differently with our Everest Private Cloud. We would manage the migration, we'd manage the service, we'd manage the base operating system, the patching, the basic security, we'd manage the network. And the network is an element where I think there is complexity with some clients depending on their business and the types of disaster recovery sites they have and the number of locations. So in a nutshell, we're providing a very concierged service, whereas the public cloud is a more basic DIY service. So it's the Bunnings type scenario, whereas we're managed. So that's a long answer to a short question, but yeah, so we saw that there was an opening in the market for that, and we launched in the UK, and then we quickly launched in Australia, and we had significant success and continue to in both regions, and we've now started to provide services in North America and Canada, and other markets that are growing are New Zealand and also Singapore.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it seems that in a world where we have many different cloud options, from public cloud, data center hosting, and private cloud, and your product, your solution fits into a particular category you find best?
Yeah, so I was going to say it's an interesting point. And if we think about the cloud, there's the public cloud vendors, so the usual suspects: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and a couple of others. Oracle have got a solution, IBM have a solution, and then you've got smaller private cloud vendors like ourselves, but they're more localized often.
Yeah.
Not so often are they global. Then you've got the data center companies themselves providing an infrastructure service, which is similar to cloud. You've got telcos and ISPs offering a cloud type service. And then you've got customers themselves who get their own data center and have their own virtualized service, which in essence is like their own cloud.
Yeah.
So we think in the market where we are in terms of that private cloud, managed, global, service-centric, we think we don't have a lot of competition in that space in terms of like for like. Our competitors really are the public cloud vendors and on-prem.
And on-premise IT scenarios.
Yeah. So when we're talking about business cases where clients will often say, well, what is the cost compared to public cloud,
Yeah.
or what is the cost compared to staying on-prem. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And obviously, when it comes to the IT reseller space, you know, they have a lot of options that they consider themselves when providing cloud options to their clients, and their clients trust them to provide the most appropriate fit. For resellers who are involved in the managed services space, what would you say is the best advantage for them choosing Everest over other cloud options?
Well, given my vast experience having had an MSP, I think the services that would resonate with them that Everest provides is that we provide a simple platform in which to get their clients onto the cloud. We'll manage the process to get them to that point. We'll manage the actual deployment, and then we'll manage the cloud itself. So I think in a time now where resources are expensive, finding people is difficult. So
Especially since post-pandemic.
exactly, and I think MSPs are not immune to that. And you know, I suppose we're talking about a certain size. You know, I think very large MSPs will have invested significant money and resources in having their own teams of people
Of course, yeah.
focused on Google and AWS and Azure. This is probably not targeted around their needs, although obviously there's a conversation, but it's more that mid to small market where they're smaller MSPs who, you know, I think they'll have maybe one or two people doing cloud, and we can augment that and provide them with the resources and capability to, you know, it won't be a limiting factor, the personnel. So we can help them get their clients to the cloud simply and easily.
So I'm assuming that means also fast scaling up, being a cloud product, the scale and the expertise and the support.
Yeah, the scale, the expertise, the support, and the design, and also, you know, providing those leading edge technologies like, you know, things like the NVIDIA GPU platform we're seeing is gaining in traction, and I think we're seeing that market changing now with the deployment of, you know, high quality workstation solutions using that technology, and also AI, using AI platforms. They need GPU as well as part of that.
So you've touched on an area which I can see is very prevalent in architectural firms and medical, in terms of radiology, medical imaging. They all use the 3D distributed rendering on their platforms. And tell us more about how Everest solves the cost equation for workstations, for instance, that are quite expensive.
Yeah, so it's cost and also flexibility. So we can deliver down that workstation solution with 4K type images using NVIDIA's GPU product. And it obviously then it means for, you know, when we take a step back and we think, well, the challenge for businesses that have, especially in this post-pandemic world, maybe a distributed workforce, you know, and then they've got to have, you know, expensive workstations perhaps at people's homes, or they've got to move them from the office to the home. And this requires logistical support and management. With our product, you can have that solution no matter where they are on any device. So it's obviously not mainstream, but you know, in certain markets and niches, it's valuable.
And I'm guessing that the support requirement from a cloud version of that 3D rendering model, where they need powerful workstations on premise, that's taken away from a cloud distributed model.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's less support
exactly
required.
Which reduces the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then especially if we look at the medical imaging space, if they've got multiple radiologists and doctors at different locations globally, it's very easy for us to deploy that technology. You know, with teleradiology, and even you know, for doctors in remote areas, getting workstations to them is one thing. But then if there's support for them, that's complex and you know, parts and things like that. So reducing that complexity on site makes for a better solution.
Fantastic. In the medical area that you've just talked about, my understanding is you've had a strong historical background with medical. Would you like to tell us more about that and how that transcends into Everest?
With the IT business that I had, we had a great deal of experience within general healthcare and also within radiology. And that knowledge that I built up over the years allowed us to pivot the cloud into healthcare very quickly, very easily, and we could use that knowledge to the benefit in terms of that design. So, I think also I had a radiology business for 6 or 7 years in the UK, and having that allowed me also to understand some of the nuances within radiology and diagnostics. So the UK was the first market for us for Everest. We had very strong ties to the NHS, and it allowed us to provide services to them almost immediately. So,
Have you found that the Everest product for medical, that you've obviously had some successes with Canada Health and other radiology practices worldwide, as well as the NHS that you've mentioned. What's been the biggest determining factor by these organisations when they've looked at other public cloud options versus Everest?
look, I think it's probably multifaceted, but certainly things like data sovereignty have been key, and the ability to build and design the solution to suit the client's needs exactly. I know that when we were designing the solution for the Australian Defence Force, they had a very stringent list of requirements, and I don't see how a public vendor will be able to meet that. It was a complex process to get us to that point. So I think that flexibility and customization, I think, is really key.
Okay. One of the things I've noticed about the public cloud space, is that obviously you've got to formulate your own solution if you're an end user, a business, and you want to put together a solution. Your IT company has to put together that solution through their calculators for public cloud hosting and costs. I also noticed that you have to essentially bring your own IT department to actually maintain and ongoing monitor and support that infrastructure, that platform. How is Everest different in that regard?
So the public cloud vendors have a bottom-up approach. So their go-to-market strategy is very much centered around, focused on the IT engineer.
Yeah.
So their approach, they're targeting engineers to become qualified in terms of being a cloud engineer, and obviously then they can support that cloud platform, because obviously it's actually complex just to build a quote and to price up and design a system within Azure and AWS. So there's courses around that, and then the work required to actually support a customer and migrate them across, it's complex.
The migration project.
Yeah. So our approach is completely different. It's a managed solution. So we'll do the migration for the client. We'll project manage it. We'll interface with their existing IT resources and their partners to make sure that the solution fits. We'll also, unlike if you price something up within the public cloud, the calculator, it is what it is. No one's looking going, oh, hang on, Nick, that doesn't look right. Maybe have you thought about this or thought about that? We'll work with you in a consultative approach in terms of getting that solution spot on, making sure it's working for you, and we're part of the process and we want to be a partner. So.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of the next questions now. How's that so far, Sharon?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
there
just
more
thinking
to
of coffee
say?
at the moment.
Oh, I was just
Oh,
about
no,
to.
it's not your fault, Sharon. Nick promised it and he made it.
Any?
I was getting angry on the interview then. I was about to.
I saw
I'll get that sorted.
Sorry,
Would it be worthwhile? Can you go deeper on the governance thing in the ISO to 27001 and
Yeah,
talk a bit about that?
We'll talk about it. We're just about to engage. We've started the process with SOC compliance in the US. It's be great for you guys too, especially in Chicago. People are going to go, "Do you have SOC compliance?" You'll be like, "We're just getting it now."
When you say SOC compliance,
100 grand.
Okay.
Sorry.
Milo, get out.
so you're talking about Security Operations Center compliance when you say SOC compliance.
No, Sarbanes-Oxley.
So
Sarbanes-Oxley.
I
don't know.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's the compliance.
Okay. I was thinking of Security Operations Center like SOC compliance.
So something like one of the things that makes Nick, you can lead in with this question if you like. One of the things that makes Everest different to other private cloud offerings is the level of, is it security and compliance or governance and compliance or something like that?
I can just talk about security and compliance, and I'll let Scott elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be good.
We've gone halfway into resellers and then medical. Does that?
We want to keep going.
We could keep going. Oh, wait till the coffee's.
Yes, okay. So Sarbanes-Oxley is an act that the US federal government passed
Yeah.
to manage how financial records were kept and processes within corporations.
For medical or
Everything.
for everything?
Yeah. So SOX compliance,
SOC.
SOX,
SOX.
SOX,
What does the X stand for?
Oxley,
Oxley.
Sarbanes-Oxley, so SOX.
SOX.
S and then the O.
Okay, alright.
You can do some reading on it. It'll be really important in Chicago.
Alright, okay.
To the point where that and the other one is HIPAA,
HIPAA, which I'm familiar with, yeah.
HIPPA.
Yeah, and they're the standards that we abide by here in terms of medical record handling.
Yeah, even though they're not mandated here, but we use them. Yeah.
But the HIPAA is a US standard, is it, originally? Okay.
Equinix is HIPAA. We're not HIPAA directly.
And SOX has just become an add-on
Long
layer?
time. Long time.
Oh, it's been a long time, okay.
It's the same as ISO 27001. US doesn't have ISO.
I see,
The
okay.
US doesn't recognise ISO.
It doesn't,
No, it's a
okay.
European standard.
But SOX is the equivalent of
That's
ISO
right.
27001 standard?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. And so if they don't have ISO 27, did you guys have ISO 27001 standard?
We do.
Everest? Yeah.
So we're
And now you're getting the equivalent accreditation SOX.
we had a
for-
client the other day. They wanted the certificate.
Yeah, and that will open up doors to other deals in government.
In
corporate-
US.
In the US.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could actually have 2 cups.
It looks like a Guinness or something.
Whether that would work. And do you want a coffee too, Nick?
Thanks. It's very civilized.
I'll have one from
I can't tell how that looks. I think that's fine. I'll
Okay.
get you one. And then,
Thanks.
I'll just have a glass of water, Sharon,
okay.
because I had a coffee. I had a double strength coffee before.
That looks like a beast. Thanks, Sharon.
They're nice coffees.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon.
Did you say you're having a coffee?
No, I'll just have
Okay.
because I had a double coffee before. So what I was asking before
Do
was,
we want to record this? Stuff?
Yeah.
We're recording anyway.
and you're just going to chop them up.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was asking before. This is not the question, but we've gone between medical and resellers. Does that matter?
No.
Okay.
No, because
Yeah.
again, we can chop it and
Yeah.
I'm imagining these as little snippets.
Snippets. So
So
there'll
on
be
the
a
website,
medical question.
like medical question, like
And you'll put that
how
on the-
is,
on the
how is
website.
this different? How is that
Yeah.
different? I'm actually thinking, Scott, that I won't put that there
No, take it away.
because it will look a bit funny
Yeah.
in the snipping, whatever.
Yes.
It'll look weird.
Um,
And
I
I'll
will
take
question. I will question without telling them about my background. I will question about the challenge of Microsoft eating MSP's lunch when it comes to revenue, customer management.
While Scott's having his coffee, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
So tell me about. Oh, the dry cleaning tag's still on there.
I do that all the time.
The dry cleaning tag.
Tell me about. Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I need my water shower. Is it up here?
It's alright to take a little break.
Yeah,
It's
take a
lot
little
to
break
do,
for a minute.
like-
Let's take a little break and compose ourselves.
Yeah, have coffee and.
Do you want to
chill.
make a couple of notes, just some things you want to talk about for a second?
Well, I'm thinking it through at the moment. So I'm just thinking through the reseller questions we've asked already. We've already asked why would resellers choose Everest over public
Let's
cloud?
talk about that. So, I had a presentation to Dicker Data, right?
Yeah.
Because I said, oh, hey, Dicker, you should sell cloud. And they came back and said, no, they wouldn't. I said, why? Because they have Azure, which
With
they
that
don't sell.
relationship.
Yeah, Microsoft.
Yeah.
And they don't want to F with it. But it's funny though, because it makes me laugh because they're selling interactive maintenance. You know,
Yeah, they are interactive. I just got
And
a
it
quote.
competes with HP and IBM maintenance.
Yeah.
So interactive maintenance is really in a similar space to what we're talking about. Obviously, it's
Yeah. They've got cloud offerings too. I just noticed. Just when I got.
Yeah.
They're talking about their cloud.
those guys are
offerings.
nonsense.
Yeah.
I knew those guys back in the day. I gave them lists. I told them how to do sales. They were no one to be threatened by.
So we've talked already about resellers and why they would choose Everest over public cloud, and I think you answered. You talked about we just haven't talked about the challenges they're facing. I think that's what
No.
I want to
think-
encroach on that
And
topic.
I think let's just talk about the benefit to the resellers. So it's more than just, oh hey, you know, you can sell public cloud or you can sell private cloud. With public cloud, you know, there's a very deep understanding that the public cloud vendors get of the client. The MSP is literally an agent in that process, nothing more. And often they only get a commission. The billing actually goes out from the public cloud vendors, not from the MSP. Yep. And they get a commission or
Mhm.
whatever, kickback. We're talking about a white labeled cloud service that they will invoice and they'll be responsible for. And it just means that it makes the client stickier.
Yeah.
Makes it harder for them to leave.
So I could lead in with that about the current situation first. We know that in the current situation with resellers, with MSPs, Microsoft.
I just think be careful with the Microsoft and
Yeah.
saying they're trying to eat resellers.
Yeah, well, that's a bit dramatic.
just I suppose
Just talk about our benefits, not shoot them down.
yeah, because it'd be really easy to go to town on, you know, articles about AWS and security and, you know, how, and that AWS, in a statement they made, they wouldn't want the user experience to suffer because of security. It's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
Imagine that, you know, like, imagine a bank saying that. There's no locks. You want people to come and go whenever they want. That wouldn't make for good.
Good experience.
No. So I think, you know,
I'm also remembering that with all the recent hacks that have happened, so we're going to talk about cybersecurity aspect of Everest, considering Woolworths, Medibank Private, Optus.
I think these things have been happening and no one's been saying anything.
Yeah, now they're just coming out. There's more transparency now.
Well, now everyone's like, well, we better say.
We better say what's going on.
Well, don't they have to?
They do have to,
Yeah.
but it's hard to report. We had a
But it's
client-
worth throwing this question towards you, isn't it? As with all the cybersecurity incidents happening around Australia at the moment, with Optus, Medibank Private, NAB, and so forth. How's Everest approaching
Yeah,
that?
I think there's a couple of different aspects to this. Obviously, you have a server that sits on the public internet.
Oh, let me ask it again then. Sorry, we'll film again. Sorry, because I rushed my question.
I thought you did really good, but
No, I just talked too fast.
No,
I was sort of earmarking that I was going to ask that question, but all right, now I'm ready to ask it.
Go.
We'll go with that one first. So Scott, we've noticed in the Australian landscape, you know, there have been quite a few cybersecurity incidents that have happened. Most recently, Optus, National Australia Bank, Medibank Private, Woolworths, and they've all had a leaking of customer records. So these have been true cybersecurity concerns on how they handle their IT. How does Everest address the cybersecurity concerns of the market when they're with your offering?
Okay, well, I'll preface what I'm about to say by saying that just because you're on Everest doesn't mean you're immune to cybersecurity threats. It doesn't mean that your data can't be taken. But I think if we have a look at the structure and the nature of public cloud, there's a lot more exposure in those environments. Firstly, the data can be in a variety of locations, and it's hard to understand where it is. So data sovereignty is a challenge. And then who has access and what sort of access do they have to that data? You know, there have been questions raised that in some of the large public cloud vendors who employ hundreds of thousands of people, it would be very easy for those breaches of security to happen from within.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose, you know, we're a very small business compared to the public cloud vendors. So it's easy for us to exercise absolute control and security around that data. You know, we can have services and solutions in specific locations and on specific hosts. We can control who has access to it. You know, there's a greater level of control, and just the nature of, you know, you have a small one-bedroom apartment, it's very easy to secure it. You have 1,000 apartments, a lot harder to secure them. So the nature of our cloud is that it's small, it's designed around the customer's needs, and we design the security around it accordingly. So I think it's that customization, and we also allow the customers to add their own layers of security, and we advise them on those as well.
So also with the when it comes to standards for data handling and records, there's obviously many different standards that businesses have it when it comes to cloud options. What standards does Everest adhere to for
Look,
the different spaces that you?
Well, we have a range of security standards. The key ones are obviously ISO 27001.
Okay.
There's a couple of newer ISOs which we're just obtaining at the moment. There's Sarbanes-Oxley, so SOX for the US,
Okay.
which we're in the process of getting.
And that is the equivalent of ISO 27001.
Yep.
The US.
And then obviously in terms of data handling, GDPR
Mhm.
in the UK. So anything that touches the UK or Europe needs to be GDPR compliant. So, and there's a range of IT certification that we have around security as well.
And in Australian medical, you have HIPAA, of course.
Yeah, there's HIPAA as well, which and we achieve that with using the data centers that we do.
Okay.
And there's also the level of data centers and the security they have as well. So
With the public cloud vendors who provide similar solutions and similar standards, you obviously have at Everest, you have a major unique selling point over the public cloud features, all things being considered as far as they have the security standards, you have the security standards. What's one of the key to?
I think it's one word:
one word.
service.
Service, yeah.
And I think for those customers that means a lot to, then it's an easy sell. I think for the people who they want service, and then this comes down to the complexity of those organisations. A challenge we often have, especially in Australia here, is a lot of IT departments. There's been a lot of time and effort they've spent building that capability, and when we come in and say that we can take away a lot of that complexity and make it simpler, often the IT departments is resistance to that change.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a lot of costs embedded in those IT departments. So pulling that back can be tricky. So,
Yeah.
but I think service is number one. So we'll hold the customer's hands and the reseller's hand to get those clients right through that quoting, proposal, overcome those objections, get it signed, project plan to get them migrate it through, get it so it's tested, done, working, and so it becomes just day to day.
Yes.
So we'll work with the customers right through the process. And I think you're not getting that with the public clouds.
Fantastic. With Modern Cloud that we have as a business, we've enthusiastically worked together with you to actually embrace the reseller model, and as a master reseller, we're looking forward to helping resellers discover that extra dimension of revenue that they can make from the private cloud, and with the extra services that come from your team. What can resellers also look forward to in terms of protection that they otherwise wouldn't have from other large vendors in terms of customer acquisition and customer retention?
Yeah, I suppose firstly we're talking about a service that the reseller will be billing directly to the client.
Yeah.
So it means that they own that client relationship. Everest is not marketing to the customer directly. We're not promoting our services to them. There's not the ability for the client to move the service to another reseller. It's really bound to that reseller. So I think it gives them security on the business that they're selling, whereas we all know with things like Office 365 and Azure and AWS, it's very easy to move these services from reseller to reseller. And
Especially
public,
with direct billing that they do.
exactly, the public cloud vendors, they absolutely want that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they are focused on delivering that service between public cloud and the client. The MSP is merely an agent in the process.
Yeah.
So we're looking that our client is actually the MSP, not the end client. So I think that's a fundamental change.
That's great. That makes a big difference to the peace of mind of a reseller in that long-term relationship, and
Absolutely.
how sticky I guess it is for the relationship between the client and the MSP.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really it's about that revenue that we can bring and leverage that. I think this is where I think we're gonna we need to understand that the proposition from the public cloud vendors is that they're approaching the engineers with the enticement that a move to be an engineer with the public cloud vendors, supporting them, is a career enhancing move. And this is where this is the barrier we see, is that those engineers, obviously, our proposition is, hey, you don't need to be an engineer. You don't need to have these complex teams of engineers. You don't have to invest great money in training them. We'll do it for you and work with you. So I think it certainly suits a part of the market.
You've actually touched on a topic I know from our own experience where we've had a background as an MSP. We're now, fully embracing the private cloud model and how we actually market that to future customers. The biggest struggle we've had in the past, and I can still see it with a lot of MSPs nowadays, is retaining and finding good technical staff. So with that model, any customer acquisitions they make, the MSP, they wouldn't have to worry about resourcing up as far as engineers and so forth to keep up with their revenue increase and sales as they increase their sales. How does that work with Everest in terms of keeping up?
Well, to that point, traditional model with MSPs is there's, it's these steps where, you obviously you want to sell, and then as you do, you have another engineer, and there's these steps you go up to build your revenue models. Whereas with the private cloud, unlike public cloud, you don't need to resource up to be able to support that, manage it, migrate to it.
Yeah.
With our solution, we'll work with you, so there is no limit to that increase in revenue.
So a big part of that, I know, again, as an MSP, in the technical sales process of putting solutions together to prospective clients is the solution architecture and the whole design of the solution in the first place. How does Everest help in that regard, to actually get that across the line for a customer solution?
So we'll work with you and we'll help design and architect the solution for the reseller, with the reseller.
And that's a close liaison process between
I think
yourselves
that's really powerful as well, and it means that the reseller, if they don't have highly technical people who've done this or are doing this, then they don't need to. We'll do it for them and we'll work with them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds like a very clear benefit compared to other public cloud options, where you have to bring your own IT, I guess.
I think that's exactly it. And as a basic analogy, it's a chauffeur-driven car versus a rental car.
Yeah.
Like, we'll drive it for you. You just need to jump in and tell us where to go.
Absolutely.
So,
and I can't help but think that there's other benefits to an Everest cloud solution for prospective clients that are wanting to expand into other regions beyond just Australia or beyond the UK. They want to go to other regions. Where does Everest fit into that model as far as hosting in other regions, multiple regions?
Yeah, so we obviously have a reasonable footprint across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, the US, Canada, UK. We're now moving to Germany and the Netherlands, and we're obviously always looking at different locations. But for new territories, we have a commitment that we can have clients up and running in 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow, that is a very quick time frame. And this is a fully projected time frame.
Completely.
Yeah, from solution design to testing to go live. Yeah, that's fantastic. And what is a typical contract length for a customer who engages in this?
Anywhere between 3 and 5 years.
3 and 5 years.
Yeah. So for the resellers, it means that there's a decent tenure of income, and for the customer also, it gives them price surety. In this day and age where power charges and there's all sorts of fluctuations in costs and supply chain is complex, you don't have to worry about any of that.
Fantastic. And that actually makes me want to ask about one of the key issues, which is cost. I noticed that with public cloud vendors, one of the largest gripes that are had by customers is that of the lack of fixed cost per month, and how data excess and CPU excess usage
Changes.
can cause that bill to sometimes double or triple in busy months. How does Everest differ from that in terms of public cloud?
So we fix the price for the life of the contract.
Completely fixed?
Completely.
Wow.
No charges for data in or out.
That's
we fix the bandwidth, so we'll give them dedicated access. Unlimited.
So what happens if they have busy months where they've got a lot of data usage or a lot of CPU usage on their servers?
So they'll run it up. We'll even let them flex above their thresholds, but at no cost.
That must mean, I guess, that you properly scope out the potential requirements of that server hosting to begin with, to allow for that 3 to 5 year term.
We do.
Yeah. So the scoping is very important, obviously.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have scale and flexibility that we've always got excess capacity. We run about 55 to 60% utilised at any one
Okay.
time.
So when it comes to that cost question, what would a reseller, an MSP, expect in terms of a cost difference on average, all total cost of IT, ownership of public cloud versus Everest Cloud?
I think we're looking at total cost. It's 30 to 35% less.
Less expensive
Mm-hmm.
over the lifetime of that contract.
Yes.
And that, I guess, is a significant revenue opportunity for the reseller to actually, have their own price that they want to feel comfortable in providing back to their end user. Their
It
client.
is, and also as a saving in resources for them as well. So there's
Yeah.
revenue and also resource saving.
So there's a resource saving in terms of costs, and there's the concierge of services that they otherwise wouldn't have. They'd have to bring their own IT department,
Exactly.
or resource up in their own business.
And even things like DR and that business continuity piece, we can help them design those solutions for the client and facilitate that.
Okay, just thinking of other questions now.
That was good.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was really good.
You happy with this so far, Scott?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Break while I drink my coffee.
Yeah, let's have a break.
Yeah.
Check my
We
email for a
might
second.
actually.
Suggest other questions to me that I might need to ask.
Well, we might. I'll just check in. I'm just going to change the angle here. That's better. I might just check in and see. Like, I feel like in my head we've ticked what I was
We ticked the
thinking.
boxes about
We've
Scott.
got some good content so far, right?
Yeah, really good. Who is Everest? Why did you start? Yeah, we covered that. I
Is it
think.
coming across as
I
natural
think
on the
the
camera?
story. It is now.
It
Yeah.
is, okay.
Yeah. At the beginning was a bit.
Okay. I'm consciously trying to put more of my friendly energy into it instead of feeling
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need to be nervous. It's
I
good.
think
Yeah,
it
just
might
a bit.
be. I don't know about.
Do you want to
whether-
talk about something market specific, like the US, North America? Can you use some of these sound bites?
Yeah,
with-
100%.
With Chicago and that?
Yeah.
Markets mean
Yeah,
actual case studies.
No, like why are you going to RSNA? What's the benefit there? Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
some of that
let's
stuff?
definitely talk about that.
RSNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't on my original list because I didn't know where we were going.
That's true. Because
What
we can
about
put
the-
those up
And
on
you're
our
not
website.
going because you got to run stuff here, right?
Yeah.
Keep the shit show going.
The shit show, yeah.
It's true though, right?
It's
I mean,
true.
not in an offensive way, but yeah.
Yeah.
We're not exactly driven to wake up every morning feeling excited about the world with managed services.
The future is looking bright though.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Did
is.
we? Do you feel like we got enough of the Everest story, like why we started? I feel like it was a bit.
We'll do some more of that.
We can
Yeah,
start
I
that
think
again.
now that
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
relaxed a bit.
Yeah, I've relaxed
that-
now, and I can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bit
and
more.
I actually want to introduce myself as Nicholas from Modern Cloud, which I didn't even do at the
Okay.
beginning.
And sorry, I'm not
Yeah.
being I'm just
No,
leaning
that's
this
okay.
way.
That's okay. No problem.
Yeah. Well, if you want to do that, you should probably look into that camera and speak to that camera
That camera.
if you're going to introduce yourself. And I'm
Okay.
here with Scott from Everest. Yeah.
But where's it getting that audio from there? Oh, it's getting. You're going to use that audio track.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind. I can look at it. It's okay.
No.
No?
Or do both.
There's only one producer, right?
Thank
I'm
you,
just
Scott.
saying. Yeah.
Do it both. So do it this one first.
Okay, so we're doing an intro about Nicholas from Modern Cloud. Today I have with me Scott from Everest.
I'll give you the Everest story without the.
A preferred
Subjugated
partner
views.
situation, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was thinking we could do a shorter version so we have less than a 2
Well,
minute.
we can do a couple of versions. You can just
Because
play
a
around.
Yeah.
2 minutes, short attention spans, people.
Yeah.
Less than a
Only-
2 minute total video.
Well, I was going to say we should be 30-second intro to Everest. We should be done. Like it should be short and sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll give that a try now. Oh, actually, you ready now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do an intro to that camera,
Mm-hmm.
then do an intro to this camera and keep talking. Make sense?
No.
Do
Two
two
in- two
intros.
intros.
One to this, one to that.
Yeah.
And just roll with the whole thing. Do an intro. I won't say anything. Then you
Yeah.
do another intro.
All right. I'm just going to do what I have to keep it conversational style. I can't snip it in my own brain like that. That's
No,
okay.
just do two
Just
intros.
two intros. So just do an intro right there.
Yeah, but my intro was interactive with Scott. That's what I'm saying.
No, I won't say anything.
Oh, okay. You mean intro as in who I am?
Correct. Yeah. Just
Alright, let
that.
me
Hi,
give
I'm
it a
Nick
try.
from Modern Cloud, and I'm here with Everest. Scott, real excited.
Scott,
whatever.
CEO and founder
CEO and founder of
Yeah.
Everest.
Are you
Everest.
starting?
Everest Secure Cloud or Everest?
No, just Everest.
Everest, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Nicholas from Modern Cloud. Today we have a special guest, Scott Crawford from Everest, and we're going to be talking about why Everest is a great option compared to public cloud options. Yes?
Cool. Do it again.
Do it again?
Yeah.
To
More
there.
energy.
No, to here.
To there.
Yeah. And with more energy
And just a bit
then
more
you're gonna
relaxed.
Keep
And
talking.
you don't need to use my last name.
Oh, not your last name. Okay,
I don't think
right.
so.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Hi, it's Nicholas from Modern Cloud. We're here today with special guest Scott from Everest, and we'll be talking about. What's that? What was the hand up for?
He said hello.
Oh, is that what it was? Sorry, I
Oh,
wasn't
you
looking.
fucked it now. Off you go.
Here we go.
Take two.
Hi, it's Nick from Modern Cloud. We're here today to be talking with Scott from Everest, our special guest, and we'll be talking about Everest and how it is a great solution for cloud hosting compared to some of the public cloud options out there.
So, yeah, good.
The other camera. You want me to do that camera too?
No, you've done that one.
Yeah.
All right? You're okay with that one?
Yeah, I'm okay with that one. So do that again. You just got to keep talking.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We've rolled into it.
All right, so I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Keep rolling. Hi, it's Nicholas from Modern Cloud. We have a special guest here today, Scott from Everest, and thank you, Scott, for being here today.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
We're going to be talking about why Everest compared to public cloud.
So don't we start with a story? Tell us how Everest started.
Okay. So, Scott, please tell us about Everest and how it all started.
Okay. Well, Everest has been going for around about 6 years, and the initial vision was.
Sorry, you're going to have to do that again because you moved and I didn't see.
Sorry.
So, ask your question again, please, Nick.
I'll do it in one run. Again,
Sorry.
from
Do
the
you want me
beginning.
to move this cup as well?
No, it's fine actually. You can't see it.
Okay.
It's
sorry.
right out of
I'm
the
going to
range.
suck something out of it. Go next up.
Sharon, just the temperature on the, do you mind putting it, I think you've got it on 24, 25. Do you mind putting the temperature on the thing? Because these lights are also quite warm.
You're getting a bit hot, big fella.
Yeah, because I put my jacket on.
I see that.
I'm not feeling the pressure.
Okay, I can see that. There's a little nerve there.
Yeah, it's raising
Especially when
my
I
body
was like, hi, and
temperature.
you're like, what are you doing?
I thought, what's that wave? It was like a stop. I didn't
Is
approve.
it not? It's not on at all. Do you want
Can you put it on 22
22?
and
Done.
cooling?
In cooling, all right.
Yeah. Or put 21 and cooling actually.
Yeah, it's on cool. 21 and cool.
All right, thank you.
All right, Scott's in frame and action.
Hello and welcome. It's Nicholas from Modern Cloud. Today we have a special guest. It's Scott from Everest. Hello, Scott.
Hi.
We'll be talking about why Everest versus public cloud and other options for hosting your business in the cloud. So, Scott, please tell us about how Everest came about and your background with Everest.
Well, I started Everest 6 years ago, and obviously I had an IT business at the time, and the vision was that I saw the need for a private managed cloud. So we based it on obviously our customers at the time, their requirements, and I could see that the cloud is one thing, but you need a strategy around what you're going to do in the cloud. You need a process to get there, how it's going to be managed, what the effect on your data, on applications, on security, on backups, on DR, and we thought it's a big piece. And at the moment, at the time it was being left to IT companies who didn't have great experience in that space. So we wanted to build a cloud business that specifically handled and managed that for customers without the need for them to do it themselves. So Everest was born, and the story Everest started small, started in the UK with a small group of clients. We started doing work with the NHS also initially.
That's the National Health Service.
It is, yep, and that was based on, I've got a deep understanding of the health service there and a significant experience in that market. So we launched in the UK and quickly built our clients up there, and then launched in Australia, and we've now grown the footprint. We've got Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, the US, Canada, and UK and Europe. So in a nutshell, it's a managed service. It provides full migration services. We manage the patching and the support of the service for the customers. We provide really that concierge, so that's that consultative approach to the cloud. So you're not on your own as a customer or a reseller. We'll be there with you to support you in that journey. So it's 24/7 support. It's all bells and whistles for the customer.
I noticed that most IT providers have challenges with resourcing and having the proper engineers and retaining. This is something obviously that they wouldn't need to worry about being with Everest.
Yeah, so that's something specifically we've built Everest to address, is that you don't need to have a significant resource requirement to migrate to Everest or manage Everest. Obviously you can do as little or as much as you want, and the idea is that this takes the burden off those MSPs, whereby they've got to have teams of people deeply experienced in cloud. And I think if anyone's seen, employing and retaining these cloud engineers is becoming complex as well, and the market being what it is, it's expensive. So we want to make this a much more viable proposition, whereby the MSP doesn't need to have complex engineers. They can migrate their customers to our cloud. We'll do it for them, with them, and they bill the client. I think they'll enjoy far greater levels of revenue and deeper profits.
So when it comes to IT resellers and MSPs that are considering Everest as an option for their business versus public cloud, we've talked about the resourcing and the engineers that they would normally have to keep up with. What about the addressing of the differences between public cloud in terms of the relationship with the client and how they maintain that relationship from a billing perspective and retention perspective? How's Everest different to dealing with Microsoft or Amazon?
Well, I think fundamentally the reseller will be our customer.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas with the public cloud vendors, fundamentally the client, the reseller's client, is their client.
Yeah.
They market, they speak to them directly, and it's very easy then for that client, if they move MSPs, they can easily move their cloud to another MSP. Whereas our service we're talking about is white labeled, that the MSP would bill, they control that relationship, and I think there's a lot of power in doing that.
Yeah.
Not giving away the clients.
I guess another one of the challenges, having had an MSP background myself in the past, we've embraced modern cloud and Everest as a business model for our business moving forward, because we've seen the writing on the wall as far as the managed services industry and how slowly but surely it's moving and migrating, transcending to a different business model of cloud expertise and cloud vendors. This has obviously been in the making for the last 10 years. But how fast do you think that acceleration progress is along in terms of the industry, the IT service industry, changing to one where the irrelevance of managed services in the internal IT versus needing to be in the cloud space for the future?
Yeah, look, I think it's obviously that acceleration's picking up, but I think what we're seeing is in the MSP space, we'll see there'll be very large multinationals in that space, and there'll be smaller, very niche players. I think if you're in between those two areas, then it will be tough out there in the market. So I think that is probably just reminds me of another point. By selling Everest also differentiates you from all the other MSPs. They're all selling Azure and AWS. We can give you a point of difference, and then you can pass on those benefits, around DR and backup and security and management. And I think these things are important to customers, and it doesn't mean you're having to reinvent the wheel and build your own NOC team. We give you all those services from the start.
And obviously with MSPs, there would be a sweet spot in terms of a size of a typical MSP that this would most appeal to. And I'm guessing that size is, from what I've been liaising with you on this, is somewhere between the 10 to 30 employee mark of IT service business.
Exactly. I think that's spot on.
My feelings on that are that the smaller firms struggle with having cloud experts or data center experts with the high salaries that they expect. What access to what team would they have with Everest in terms of getting those projects out, delivered, designed, architectured, and so forth?
So with depending on where the reseller is located, whether it's in Australia, here, or the US or the UK, we'd give them access to a local team which would have support people and a solutions architect. We'd build out that, I suppose the journey for the reseller with their client would be, first of all, discovery, understanding what they need, then building out a solution, pricing it, and then if that goes ahead, then helping understand the project management of it, and then implementing that and working between all three parties.
So once the implementation has been done for that project, for that new client, how's the ongoing support work for the clients in terms of the platform, the servers that are being hosted with Everest?
Yes, so we'll provide that basic patching and security, basic security, manage the VPNs for them, manage the network, help them with the server management. So really, depending on where that MSP is at in terms of their resourcing, we can flex up or down that service model to suit.
Okay. Have you had examples that you can talk of where the resource costs for a project going to Everest has a very clear reduction in cost for the end client? Are there examples you can talk about where that has been a great win for Everest, for the client?
Yeah, we had a very large customer in Victoria in Australia. They were a large healthcare business with around 2,500 staff. They had a significant footprint, legacy footprint in terms of IT. They had 3 data centers, their own equipment, their own switches, network. It was a complex environment.
Did they have an internal IT department?
They
in
had
terms of employees?
internal, and they had significant change within that department. So there was knowledge that they were losing as people came and went. And then when we looked at it and we went through that discovery process, and then we identified that there was significant savings to be made, both in terms of security, network, just managing those servers and the data center. So we went about building out what that would look like, and then helping them build a business case to show the cost savings. And we were able to save around 48% on that.
48%. Is this the total cost of ownership of OT?
Total cost of ownership. Yeah, they were north of $2 million.
Wow.
per
So
year. And
where did that land in terms of total costs at the end of
it was
it?
under $1 million.
Under $1 million per year, and reduced from over $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this
also
is
it means
all
that-
because of choosing Everest.
Yeah, and also means they don't have outages.
Yeah.
Like they have a simpler environment. It meant they didn't have complex equipment that they would own that they would need to replace. And then fundamentally it meant that
So this was all an operational expense, I guess, for them.
Yeah,
A
so they don't
subscription of
have-
sorts.
they don't have a lot of complex capital that they purchased, which means they're not responsible for that.
Yeah.
We're responsible for delivering a service to them.
It's very compelling to have a subscription equivalent pricing to pay per month, as opposed to a large project to move that sort of client environment and reduce their costs.
And it's ongoing. It means that they don't have those bumps of disruption every 3 years or 5 years where they have to replace their equipment, and then they're subject to the woes of the market.
How does Everest help, do you feel, in keeping that relationship, for that particular example, that client, keeping it sticky in terms of their supplier? So in the case of, was there a reseller involved in that particular company, or was this an internal IT?
There was internal IT.
Internal IT.
But I suppose as their business grows and changes, they recognise the benefit of having us there to easily adjust that offering to suit, and adjusting the network and working with their, for example, they buy new businesses and new healthcare practices. It's very easy for us to add in new servers.
So when this particular business wants to expand in the future, the resourcing up of their engineers, for instance, and people to manage their IT would not be the same?
Wouldn't be the same.
Would
We
I
had-
been with Everest?
We had a commitment to them actually It was a unique offering,
Yeah.
given the size and scale that they were at, where we said during the life of the contract, buy as many businesses as you like,
Expand as much as you want.
spend as much as you like, and
Yeah.
we'll still fix the cost. So
So
there
a
was
fixed
no
cost.
there was no cost increases regardless of new services they offered or added to their existing business.
And,
So it was very compelling.
and you also have compelling solutions when it comes to disaster recovery for those solutions. I'm assuming these include live disaster recovery,
Yep.
hot disaster recovery options.
Yeah,
and
there's
so
there's
forth.
cold, warm, and hot depending on. And it's not really what the client wants. It depends on what the application supports, the
Yeah.
type of database that they have.
The redundancy they want.
Yeah, yeah. So there's some complexity there, but yeah, there's a great deal of flexibility there.
And in regards to that reduction in cost, some people would think, well, I also have the option of public cloud, but public cloud has the challenge, a very great challenge that people know about, which is data excess CPU usage and CPU usage when the servers have busy months. How does Everest handle the excess billing component of the public cloud space? How do they handle that if there's really busy months in
Yeah,
cloud hosting?
so
Otherwise,
we fix the price for the life of the contract. So there's-
completely for the duration.
completely. There's no data charges. There's no hidden charges whatsoever. It's a single
Fantastic.
fixed fee that does not change.
That's also very compelling.
Mm.
That also means that the only other concerns from a project implementation is how to solution design and project manage and deliver that project. How's that handled from a billing perspective to the client or the reseller that's involved with choosing Everest?
Generally speaking, there's no fee for us to
Mhm.
do that unless it's extremely complex. If it's a government client, there's a great deal of
Okay.
work involved, but generally speaking, we'll do the project, the migration at no charge.
So the implementation project is essentially complementary.
That's right.
I'm guessing that's within a particular fixed term.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's 3 years.
3 to
normally.
5 years.
3 to 5 years. Yeah. That's a very compelling addition to the mix of value that Everest seems to provide compared to the market. Any other questions?
Good. Can you fix your shirt a little bit? It's just popping out a little bit.
Okay.
What would be really great is if you. Sorry.
I'll look the other way for a long time.
I think that conversation piece around the resourcing and
Fixed fee costs.
yeah, like you were talking about the IT department, but it was in the context of MSPs, which is awesome content for resellers.
Yeah.
But I think we need to, if we can redo that conversation again using client or
I think that was last
Customer
one was a bit
instead of-
client. That was only about capital, no MSP there.
yeah,
Nice.
the resourcing though would be really good, I think,
Yes,
for
okay.
the
So the
IT department.
For the IT department, yeah.
But
Yeah.
the problem with that is it's a threat for the IT department. It's good, but it's
Oh.
procedures are, and you know what? And funny in Australia,
Right.
it seems to be a threat. You know,
But
That's why I
think
didn't
that's-
it's a
mention-
benefit, but
No,
it's
no.
a threat as well.
I think
Well, that's why I didn't talk
Can
about
we-
staff reduction. I didn't ask the question about staff reduction. I just
We use the term staff reallocation or something like that.
yeah, because what we could do in the context of that, yeah, and tell me what do you think, is rather than talk about cost reduction, it's about being able to free up those resources to work on the things that really matter in the business. And that, there isn't an IT department I've ever spoken to that has oodles of time on their hand. They're always wanting to be more proactive and to free up those resources instead of
I
being
think-
bogged down.
I think that's a good point.
I think it's a good one to address because it is a problem, and that's just something that's a video snippet.
so how
we
would you like
could
me
send.
to ask that as an open question?
So I think
Am I making a
it
statement,
started
asking a
with
question?
you were talking about Everest. You were talking about where you were.
I think I think the question would be, what really is the direct benefit for customers who have existing IT
We're
departments?
talking end users now. Yep. End
Yeah.
users. as
What,
opposed to
what's
resellers.
what's the benefit for
For clients.
for a client? Yeah. I think
Yep. What's a key
Businesses.
benefit?
Businesses, we should say, because they're yeah.
Businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your time frame, guys? It's 3:05. 12.
Yeah.
Michael, the electrician's calling me.
Do you need to answer?
Take it.
Quick
I'm gonna
break.
have my coffee. Take it. We're good.
Attention
We're
to
good.
you.
It sounds like the guy for your thing, right?
Yeah. I'm going to tell him that we're still filming, and
What do you reckon, Sharon? Another 10, 15?
Hang on. Say what?
Another 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah. I reckon we just get a little snippet about the resourcing.
Michael, hello, it's Nick. I'm just still got about 15, 20 minutes of filming that I'm doing here, and then I'll be there. So it'll be 40 minutes, 45 minutes tops before I'm there.
Okay.
Because I'm actually involved in the filming myself, so I can't leave because we've set this up for quite a while. We've been planning this.
Do you want to leave it for tomorrow afternoon? Because I'm already here now, and I'm just basically doing nothing. I'm going to be waiting for you. Yeah.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, or the difference is Sharon could come and let you in. She can leave now. Sharon is the one behind the camera, so to speak, but we don't need her as far as filming.
Alright, yeah, that's all, yeah. I see your message an hour ago. Yeah, that's telling you I'd be here at 12. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you said 12:30, but I just got your message now. You said you were going to SMS me, so we were just being.
Well, I did at 11 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I'd be there at 12, at 11 o'clock, but yeah.
Well, she'll be there shortly. I mean,
We can do it tomorrow, Nick.
Yeah, okay, I'll wait. If she's going to be here shortly, I'll wait.
yeah, Sharon. I can't do it tomorrow, Sharon. I've got an appointment tomorrow.
And
So
I can.
okay.
And I can do it tomorrow.
Okay. What time tomorrow can you do it, Michael?
More afternoon, like 1 to 2 o'clock-ish.
1 or 2 o'clock. All right. Yep. I'll have to call you back, and because we're in the middle of filming now, so I can't
Yeah,
confirm.
sorry, yeah. Look it out tomorrow, yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Alright,
Okay. Bye bye.
bye.
Sorry, guys, I'm running late. I've mucked your schedule
No,
up.
that's okay. That's all right. That's fine.
I think if we just do a little bit about the resourcing conversation.
Yeah.
then-
Sounds good.
And then we can talk about AI and the conference and that sort of thing.
Oh, RSNA. Yeah. How do you pronounce the Adelaide conference? ANZCA. RANZCA. Royal Australian
Royal Australia, New Zealand
New Zealand
College
College
of Radiology.
of Radiology. RANZCA. And the RSNA is the Chicago one.
Okay. So, Nick, can you? Oh, when you're ready, Scott.
Sorry.
No, you're right. And I'm just gonna move coffee out. Ooh, jeez. Coffee out a bit.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yeah, that works.
Sharon's getting ready for her exercise.
Okay.
You know she does.
Is there something happening?
No, she goes to a EMS. It's called. They electrocute you. They plug you in, and they electrocute your muscles as you exercise,
Oh, wow, is it
and it
good?
makes you sweat.
Yeah,
Feeling
it's really
good?
good. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. I'm gonna stop it soon and start going to like F45 or something.
No, go there. Go with
Because I
Sharon.
feel like it's given me
Go
the
with Sharon.
kind
Go
of
with Sharon.
boost that I needed to
Keep going.
just get
Good
started.
work. Sit down.
Yeah, it's because it's pretty expensive by gym standards.
It's $50 a session.
Okay. But
Yeah.
cheaper than PT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Nick, if you could ask your question about
What customers?
Businesses.
resourcing for businesses, yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again. Business benefits for
No.
Or what are
just
the
business
key benefits, yeah,
Key
the
benefits. for
benefits
business.
of
for business?
for business of
Everest.
just Everest. Okay. All right. So Scott, what are the key benefits of Everest for businesses choosing to use Everest over other public cloud options?
Okay, so look, I think number one, and this is not a benefit, it's just a completely different change. So with a customer or with a business now, they have to have their own servers and they're responsible for managing them and keeping them patched and secure, and they have an IT company often that does it, or they'll have internal IT people, one of the two, and then every 3 or 5 years they'll replace them, and so fundamentally they own this and they're responsible. Moving to Everest, we take that ownership, we take that responsibility over, and we deliver down to them their data and their applications as a service. So, there are a range of benefits there, but the fundamentals are they don't have to be responsible for them anymore, which means they're not responsible for housing them, storing them, securing them, backing them up, providing DR for them. We do all that for them. We'll make sure that they're patched, make sure that they're available, and if there are problems, we can easily and quickly restore from backups.
This includes cybersecurity.
Yep, includes baseline security. And what that means for the customer is that, you know, if they've got IT resources internally that are charged with managing these servers and doing some of these more baseline tasks, they can redeploy them within the organization, allowing for better efficiency within their IT department.
Because that's often one of the complaints of most IT departments or IT personnel, that they're always too busy and they're stretched thin. This will release a lot of their time to focus on bigger picture tasks, I guess, in terms of strategy.
Absolutely. Well, it just releases those tasks like, you know, patching of servers and monitoring of backups. These things are they're innate, and they're often pushed to the side, and when something happens, they're the things that don't get done, and they're important. That, you know, they're not exciting, but they need to be done every single day.
They're critically necessary.
Yeah. So by not doing, but by having Everest take responsibility for those, it alleviates some of that pressure for the IT departments, and it results in a better service.
Yeah. Okay.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. Yep.
Yep.
So then I think,
RSNA and ANSCA.
Ranska.
yeah, let's do that, and
RSNA.
then, yeah, I think we've mostly covered everything actually, but
Love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So my questions for RSNA and RANSCA.
Would it
What's the
be
relevance of the question?
medical specialization? Tell us about your medical specialty or specialization in medical. You can reference the background in medical you've got.
I want to cut into that question by saying, well, lead into it by saying, we're really looking forward to attending RANSCA in Adelaide, the National Conference for Radiology and Medical Imaging, and also the equivalent RSNA International Conference in Chicago. Tell us more about your medical background. I mean, do I make this a relevant thing for Modern Cloud?
Yeah,
Leading with that?
you know what? I would say do the medical question, that, and then if you want to have a separate question about RANSCA, a separate one about RSNA, because they're different events, and
So keep it as just your
three
background
pieces.
with medical
There's
imaging.
medical, and then there's medical and healthcare.
Tell us more about your medical imaging expertise and how
Yep.
that's relevant to Everest and businesses that specialise in medical.
Yeah, we just, I suppose, need to be careful of this. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to be pigeonholed too much, which is something you need to be cognizant of.
So the question's wrong? Then
No, I just think it just needs to be contextualised
Okay.
accordingly. So just say you,
So I
have,
can say-
you have a particular area of expertise.
So I've noticed that you have a strong background in medical.
Yeah, good.
in
Everest.
medical.
Yep.
I noticed that Everest has a strong background in
Yes.
medical.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us more about
Yes. What that means.
what that means.
entails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how that could be
how
how
that
that is an
translates
obvious benefit. How
to-
that's an obvious
Well,
benefit.
you know, you could say how that translates to resellers, or why being in that market has benefits that translate for resellers and other businesses
And
who are
business-
not healthcare.
Who are not healthcare.
Yes.
And other. Oh, okay. All right.
You want us, because people just go, okay, I'm not a healthcare business. What's this mean for me? Oh, but they're like, oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense. You know, you've got all this added security, and you've done all these other things for healthcare, and I get to enjoy all that.
And so for resellers and other businesses looking at their options in the public cloud.
Yes. I don't think you need to
in
mention
the cloud. Sorry.
Yeah, let's not mention public cloud.
Okay. Looking at their options for cloud. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Scott, you have.
Take two.
Scott, you have a. Yeah, not Scott. Why am I saying Scott? Sorry. Scott, I've noticed that Everest has a strong.
Sorry. I thought you were saying Scott.
I'm addressing you as Scott.
I know you are.
But that I'm referring to. That was the hand up moment. There you
Yeah.
go. All right. It was my turn. Scott. Okay.
Now I see what happens. This must happen on TV.
It's a trigger.
Where you just like,
It's a
bang, I'm
trigger.
done now. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm close. Hang on a second.
Okay. What I was going to language is, Scott, I've noticed or I've read or I'm aware that
Well, you could just say, I understand that you.
I understand that Everest has a
Yes.
strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say, Scott, I understand. All right, here we go. Scott.
Oh shit.
Sharon, we might have lost him on this one.
Uh-oh.
I was waiting for that. I was like, that's going to get him going.
Galah.
There's no chance he's going to
The
survive.
galah
this.
laughing. No,
Yeah.
we're not going to laugh, but the galah's laughing at us. Okay, here we go. Let's have eye contact though, Scott. There's just.
I'm not, because you're going to make me laugh. I'm looking down here going, yep.
Because I feel like I'm talking to someone who doesn't want to talk to me.
No, it's just someone doesn't want to laugh at you. Okay, I've got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Okay, I just got to wipe away some of these tears of laughter.
Okay, let's get serious.
It's contagious, Sharon, so you can't laugh at
Come on. I gotta go.
All right.
Come on.
So, Scott, we.
Jesus Christ.
Why did he talk like that? Like so softly. Did you hear that, Sharon?
Yeah.
So Scott. Okay, sorry. Because I was like, his outtakes are going to be fantastic. Beep.
Okay.
Okay.
It's really not that funny, but I can see how it's contagious. Okay, I look like I'm crying now, which I have been.
Just say that makes you emotional.
Everest has got a strong background.
What the fuck, Nick?
That was the worst
Alright.
I've ever seen.
I think-
You just launched into his.
I'm trying to be natural.
It's not working very well.
Now that we're going out the electricity, we have 2 minutes just to
That's alright, the electricity's not happening at all.
let's
Till
take
tomorrow.
a breather from
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
take
take a
a
breath.
Yeah.
Alright. I better stand up so I
Have
can
a-
just reset
stand
myself.
up, walk around,
I'm just gonna
take it off.
I'm just
Take
gonna
one, take
FaceTime
one,
Amanda
press
and just calm down a little bit.
It's just, I just say the word "so Scott" now, and it just triggers everybody.
When you went, "So Scott." Hi, how are you? Good video. We just had one of those outtake moments where everything was taken was laughing. What's out of control? Yeah.
That's too funny, Sugar.
How are you? Can you see? Nice. No, we're still going. We're gonna. No, we've done most of it. We're just gonna do a little bit of the outtake part. I mean,
Maybe
not
go
the
back to
outtake,
the pen and
finish
try
off
and
with a
sign.
couple of bits. Yeah. No, we'll be done and then I'll go eat lunch. Yeah. I'll let you know when I'm
We're
going
not
to
doing
to see how my
tasting.
timings are.
We talked about.
I'll call you back.
Yeah. And the reduction 48%.
Do you want to talk about
Okay.
Intelerad?
Yeah. You go smash it out. I'll call you later. I can't hear you. Bye.
Testing.
I will. Sorry. Calm on this time, we're better?
Yep. Scared of using the words "so Scott" now.
No, but you used to it like this. So it's gone. It was really low and sort of just central. Yeah. I was scared.
Milo, no, down. Go over there. Sit. Good boy. Stay. Sit.
That way.
Sit.
Just trying to keep this.
I'm going to change it and not say "so Scott." I'm going to say, "I'd like to ask you about."
Cool. You tell me when.
Yeah. Are you still filming there, Sharon? On this phone?
Yep. Oh god damn it, sorry. One moment, please, caller.
You like the new iPhone?
Yeah, I've got the 14 Pro Max.
Is it good?
Well, it just gets better and better for video, photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
finally, I got it.
So I'm going to practice my question once, which is,
Yeah.
I'd like to, without doing and breaking into laughter, but I'd like to ask you about Everest's traditional background in medical
Mm-hmm.
and how that how that's beneficial to other businesses and resellers who are looking at cloud.
Mm.
Is that a better way of phrasing the question?
Yep, you want to try it from scratch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to ask you about Everest and the strong medical background that Everest has. How
Oh, Jesus, please.
It's on me. It was completely on me that time. I couldn't look at him because he was concentrating so hard.
I was concentrating. I was trying to be sensible.
I fucked it. I'm sorry. Let's just go straight away again.
Go.
Go.
I'm going to lead in more conversational
Just-
style. So
Don't tell me how you're going to lead in, just lead.
Okay.
It's fine, it's fine. Why, Sharon, does he have to look and think about it so fucking long? I'm waiting.
I'm
And
sorry.
he's like,
I'm sorry.
I got to get into character.
yeah, okay.
What's my backstory?
Yep, go.
We've been talking about Everest and its strong medical background. I'm curious how that is a clear benefit for other businesses or resellers that are considering their options with cloud.
Look, it obviously wasn't intentional, but when we first started Everest, there was a fit for healthcare, and it evolved, you know, to be predominantly healthcare was our client base initially. And we built, you know, a lot of security standards around that, and our platform, you know, healthcare has a, you know, there's a need around data sovereignty and security and just how data is handled and managed, and we've gone through this process with healthcare, and now we're using a lot of those benefits and services, and they translate really well to general business, and especially for resellers. So, you know, we've got a cloud product now that we think is very strong with security. There's very strong data sovereignty. You know, we've got the ISO certification. We've got a range of other certifications, and we've got our GDPR standards around how we handle data. And I think this all means that for resellers and in turn for their clients, they're in good hands with us.
Yeah.
So healthcare is one of the most regulated industries globally outside of, you know, parts of government, and I think that regulatory requirement has meant that we've built systems to address it, so businesses can enjoy that benefit.
So some of those standards in medical that you guys are affiliated with, what are those standards that you can talk about that in medical that would also have those benefits in business?
Well, the ISO standard is key, and that's a
ISO 27001?
Yep, 27001.
Yep.
There's the GDPR, and obviously in Australia we don't have a GDPR equivalent. We've got 7 or 8 different standards which even cobbled together are not as strong.
Yeah.
GDPR is a very robust set of principles and rules around how data should be handled, stored, deleted, etc. Everest embraces those, and that means the translation of that means that there's absolute security and control around how we handle data.
I see.
Yeah.
For resellers in particular, these would be very expensive standards to try and obtain and maintain.
They are, and as opposed to other cloud vendors where you really have to manage this yourself, we do it for them. So there's a benefit.
And these standards and don't translate to a higher cost, obviously, in the service versus other cloud
No,
options.
we just have a standard offering, and we build it around that.
That's certainly very compelling when it's combined with the extra services that come with Everest, as opposed to bringing your own IT departments with other cloud options.
Yeah, and that's a good term. So really, with the other cloud offerings, it's you bring your own services and your own capability, whereas we provide those services and capabilities.
In store for the future, what technologies or solutions do you envisage Everest would have that is something to look forward to compared to what's being done now?
So obviously, you know, we've got containerized storage, we've got microservices in terms of how we're going to process data. We've got the NVIDIA GPU platform.
3D distributed rendering.
Yeah, with that. We're obviously a key platform for a number of AI vendors as well. So bringing some of those more to the forefront of how we work. We've got a roadmap document which we can share with resellers as well, which gives them an understanding.
What about in the areas of artificial intelligence and deep learning type products that can be added on to the server platform? Is this an area that Everest is moving into?
We're looking into that at the moment, and there's a number of vendors we'll be speaking with.
Fantastic. This is certainly a strong area for medical in terms of future path and options.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then, yep, that was perfect.
I'm going to talk about the conference now.
And then
Yep.
talk about the
I
conference.
don't think you need to talk about Ranska. It's
No.
so small and insignificant. I mean, the scheme of things.
You mean not Ranska, but
RSNA.
RSNA.
RSNA, yeah, there's 64.
What should the question be in relation
Yeah.
to that? The fact that we're both attending RSNA?
Well,
Looking-
because
Yeah.
because you're interviewing me, maybe you say, I understand you're going to be at RSNA.
Yeah.
Why have you chosen to go to that event? What's that about?
What's that about and how's that important
Hmm.
to Everest?
Sure.
Okay. No mention of Modern Cloud going to RSNA?
No.
No.
If you want to do, you
Because
can
this
do
is
a
our
set-
opportunity to say that
No, I think you should say, I'm going to see you there, or
Yes.
we're looking
Kind
forward
of
to seeing
iteration.
you.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that way we're
Yeah.
addressing it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's roll with that. We're looking forward to attending the RSNA conference. Did I say something?
What? You just this sort of false voice that you put on. What is that?
Sherry,
I've never heard it before.
we're looking forward to. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he talking like that? And then you took so much time to go. We're looking forward.
No judgment.
No, complete judgment.
Complete judgment.
No, because it was not like you. And then you got like it was like you were getting in like I don't know, Ebenezer Scrooge or something. It's a character.
I'm less seeing the humour of it now. I'm just water off a duck's back now. Like rejected phone calls, people that hang up on you. That's okay. I'll get over myself. Here we go.
Cool. Yeah,
Let's
here
do
we
it.
go.
Even the dog liked that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lead into this just to set the stage. I'm going to say
See, no,
we are looking forward to.
and you should just
seeing
keep
it.
talking exactly like that though.
Yeah.
You change your voice and
Yeah.
it becomes
No,
a
you're
strange
right,
character.
you're
And
right.
he
You're
scares
right.
me.
So don't laugh.
Just say
It's not my. It's 50% your fault, not my just fault.
You're the
Okay.
one with the voice.
Okay.
But okay.
Wait a second though. I need a
Yeah.
minute.
Okay.
Because
Yeah. Don't choke on your coffee.
and just normal voice, okay?
I'm going to say let's talk about Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Say it, but just say it normal.
I'm going to say it.
Sam,
Okay.
cool.
So let's talk about Chicago. RSNA conference. We're
Mhm.
looking forward to being at the radiology conference, the international conference, and you'll be there.
Come on.
Yeah,
He
that's
did
your
good.
fault.
That's
Good.
you.
Sorry,
Come
sorry,
on.
sorry.
You're
Sorry.
Guilty as charged.
Yep, completely. Sorry.
Okay.
No, because I
You
think
did
I
great,
was
Nick.
looking at
I
what you
thought I
did.
did
You
good.
did good. You did good. It was
You
on
did
me.
good.
It was completely on me.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the voice. That was the problem.
No,
Sorry.
it's okay. Voice didn't come.
Okay, go.
Let's talk about Chicago.
Come on.
Okay, sorry, that was me.
Just be calm. Okay, we need a minute just
okay. We're gonna have some great outtakes for this, by the way.
to just be calm.
Milo, sit down.
I love it how
Sit.
you did to say, I'm going to say this. Just,
No, I'm not going to
just,
say it anymore.
just say it.
Say it.
Okay.
So can we talk about Chicago?
Yes.
All right. So we're looking forward to going to Chicago and the radiology conference. It's a big event. Please tell us more about that and what that means.
I felt like I was holding on to a wall and sliding. I was looking at you going, I can't look at
Was Was I not consummate
No,
professional?
you were, but I actually thought you were trying to make me laugh a little bit. You had that look like he's gonna laugh. Okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. That was really unprofessional of me.
No, that's
My
okay.
acting days.
That's all right. Did you have acting days?
No, I've got no fucking idea. Okay, let's go. Chicago.
Yeah, well, I do want to talk about Chicago.
Mhm.
It's a big event happening.
Mm-hmm.
The Radiology International Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about the Chicago event, because we're looking forward to being there together. What does that mean for Everest customers and other businesses?
Well, given our focus on healthcare and in particular radiology, it is the preeminent event globally for radiologists, and we see it as an opportunity to meet with vendors.
Mhm.
Vendors are really key for us, so we think vendors are a great way to engage directly with their customers.
There's over 600 of them, I believe. at the
There's
event.
600 vendors. There'll be over 60,000 attendees.
Wow.
Which
That's a
makes
huge
it
event.
it's a huge event. So it's a great
Yeah.
opportunity to network, and also it's a great opportunity to see what's happening in the industry, what's
Yeah.
happening in the application space with the various hardware vendors as well. And it's a good opportunity to see peers and people we haven't seen. And given COVID, it's the first one in 3 years. So
3 years.
yeah, they did have a small one last year, but it was closed just to just to the US. So we think this will be a significant event. So it's big. It's on our roadmap every year on the calendar.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, we're also attending for the first time, and we're looking forward to being a strong part of that team to actually represent Everest.
I think it'll be beneficial for us all. I think it's going to be a great networking opportunity. There's great events that happen around that core conference.
Fantastic.
That
Well,
was great.
essentially the
That
answer.
was good.
Cool.
I think
got
I think we make that a wrap. I mean, I feel like we touched on pretty much everything.
Do we ask a next steps question that we film and have like a next steps
I think
video?
I'd like to film a call,
call
to
to
action,
action?
for this one.
Yeah, so that they
That's
can
for
call
you?
us. Yeah.
For me? For you?
Oh, where we ask about how do people. Well, it could be a call to action for how do people choose Everest? How do resellers choose Everest? So how do businesses choose Everest? How do resellers choose Everest?
And what do we want to answer to that?
We answer as a team. Either I can answer it, or
What
do
do
we
you
make this into a Q&A thing? What do
No,
you think,
I
Sharon?
was actually thinking you talk to camera and you say, if something along the lines, if any of that has sounded interesting to you, I'd love to have a chat, reach out.
Okay,
Yes,
I
it's just you.
figured out the way to do it. I'm going to thank you, Scott, for actually spending time talking about
Will you
Everest.
use that special voice?
Yeah. But I'm not gonna laugh this time. I'm just
No,
gonna
yeah.
say
Yes, okay.
that's all right. I'm not judging.
So can I get you
yeah, go
to
on.
say thank you and close, and then do a call to action?
Not to thank Scott first in the video.
No,
which
because
is,
I want to be able to use the call to action on potentially on different snippets.
do you want me to
it'll
say
be
thank you to the camera? Thank you for.
thank you to Scott.
Yeah.
And we'll end.
Yeah.
And then I'll get you to do a call to action, and we'll edit it in and out wherever we want. Does that make sense?
So thank you, Scott, for joining us in this interview today about Everest, and we look forward to seeing more of each other,
Yep.
Thanks,
working
Nick.
closer together.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go. It's okay. Well,
Oh wait, I just.
sorry.
That's 2. I'm counting. It's fine. Huh?
Am I looking at this camera?
No, you're thanking Scott. Let's go
Okay.
with it. Just thank Scott. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
For your time today. It's been really enlightening.
Well, thank you. I can never look at Scott's face.
What's he doing?
I don't know, he's not doing anything. It's just his turn to cop my laughter when it hasn't been, now it's my fault. Well, thank you, Scott.
What are you doing? Who is that person? I do not know.
I'm
It's
just
not
looking.
hot. It is not hot at all.
Okay, you're talking about me, not
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Compose. We got this.
so.
It's a slippery slope now. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank
can do
you.
Thank you, Scott. Can you do a cut thing? 'Cause I actually no. 1, 2, 3, cut.
it. Okay.
As in,
And 3, 2.
Thank you, Scott. One more.
He's laughing when he didn't record it.
Hang on, we're gonna wait.
Sorry.
I laugh because I love you. It's like
Yeah, it's okay.
if I didn't like you
No,
at all,
I know.
this would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
But that's the problem.
Okay, we
When
got
you have
this.
friendship there. Yep. So thank you, Scott, for today.
It's the voice. Did you see? You saw it. Yeah. Okay, go. Sorry. Hang on. He's wrecked now. You can see he's
I've
wrecked.
got my I've got my blood puppet in my head now. Okay.
Good thoughts.
So I wanted to thank you, Scott.
It's just like
It's so useless with this.
like thank you.
I think I need an oxygen tank. I need an oxygen tank in a basket because I'm running out of oxygen. Okay. Yeah,
You
do
alright?
that.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I don't like a bit of. All right. Okay.
In the same video, shall I lead on to call
Hey,
to action?
how about I say, Nick, do you want to thank me, and then you can thank me, and you can cut that bit out. Would
That's a great idea.
would that be good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it.
Nick, do you want to thank me for today?
Do it again.
Nick, do you want to thank me for today?
Yes. Okay.
He's done. Okay.
Come on, we're almost
Nick.
there.
Nick, would you like to thank me for today?
I find it difficult talking to you now.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what. Here we go. Look.
Yeah, it's
So-
gonna be
I'll
hard.
move.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. No, look at me.
Hold on. Because I'm a mess. Okay.
Nick, do you want to thank me for today?
Yes.
Where's that voice coming from?
Of course I want to thank
Oh.
Here you go.
Thank you. It's emotional.
We didn't have this much laughter on the weekend. Yesterday we were 3 friends and it was just about the same amount of laughter for the whole day.
Okay.
All right. Come on. I gotta go.
Nick, do you want to thank me for today?
Thank you, Scott.
Please stop. Okay, let's go again. Go.
I wanted to find out where I'm leading with this. Thank you, Scott, for joining us today.
Really appreciate your time.
Really appreciate your time.
And he'll say thank you, and that's it. And end.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott, for
Stop it!
Nobody stops it. It makes me laugh. Okay, sorry. Okay. Go.
Thank you, Scott, for joining us today. It's been great to learn more about Everest. We are looking forward to working close together and opportunities for clients with their cloud and businesses choosing Everest as their preferred option. And thank you and have a great day.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Perfection. Beautiful. Now, little move.
Yeah.
You're
And
call to action now.
Call to
call
action.
to action. So really simple, straightforward. If you'd like to know more, I trust that was informative. If you'd like to know more,
Should I move out of the way? So my
you're not in the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'd like to know more,
Please contact us. What?
I'd love
Please
to hear
go to
from
model.
you. Click the link below or something. What?
Yeah.
Click the
You
link
could,
below.
you could say, please click the link here.
Please click the link at the conclusion of this video.
Click the link on your screen in a moment.
And schedule a 15-minute callback. I welcome people to because we've got a 15-minute callback on our contact us page.
Yeah.
So click the link on our contact us page. We can schedule a 15-minute chat together.
Perfect.
Look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah.
It's just we've got noises from that beep beep beep.
I don't think we're able to hear them.
Shouldn't I be looking now where it's actually connected?
No,
Okay.
it's a headshot.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been interesting to learn more about Everest and how that differs from the other options for cloud. We look forward to actually helping your business or your reseller business in moving to Everest as the preferred option for cloud. Please contact us on our Contact Us page on moderncloud.com. We have a scheduled link for a 15-minute callback where we can have a chat together, and we look forward to seeing how we can help you in your business. Thank you.
Good. Do you want to try it one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been an informative session on why Everest is the preferred cloud option for your business. We have on our Contact Us page a link that you can click on to have a 15-minute scheduled chat with myself. We can actually have an introductory call to find out how we can help your business improve and how to actually fix those costs in the cloud options that you're considering.
You know what? I think we might do this. We might break, and Scott can bugger off. And when I come back, we
Yes.
can work on that.
Okay.
I think it needs a bit more energy.
All
We
right.
probably need a couple of different ones
Okay.
actually. Now that I think about it. So.
That's been amazing. Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
that was awesome.
I'm going to give you a hug.
You make me laugh.